Hi Pisces, I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with a timeless reading. Let's see what we have going on for you. Okay, we're starting off with the Hermit. I'm seeing you standing outside of something here, trying to make sense of it. Looking at something, processing. It may just feel complicated right now. Sort of like all these feelings, all these thoughts that you're having. And you could also feel sort of like quiet right now as you're processing this, Pisces. Can be wanting to like understand your feelings about it. Seven of Wands can feel like a little bit like a lot coming at you, which can be difficult because it feels like mentally and emotionally there's something that you're processing. And then having Seven of Wands, like with this card, it can feel like things are coming at you. So while you're trying to process something, like you have to also be moving around too. And that may feel sort of like difficult to balance because it's like you need to be in your air energy and your water energy. Now you need to also be in your fire energy too, which can feel like a lot going on all at once. And like this feeling like a particular sort of dance that you're doing here. And also too, Hermit can be like, I'm looking for the answer, or I'm trying to understand something, or I'm like looking for this piece of light here, or this piece of wisdom, something like that. Or something that you're just privately reflecting on. Okay. I'm seeing Two of Swords, I'm seeing Six of Swords. It looks like, I'm getting the vibe, Pisces, of you sort of going up to this energy, and it's like, which one do you choose? Because we have Two of Swords. Like, do you want to go this way with it? Do you want to go that way with it? Especially like a mental avenue here. Six of Swords is like, once you do this, you can move forward. So there's a choice that needs to be made, and then you can move forward with things, but until you do this, you can't move. So this is kind of like you will be stopped in your tracks until you do this. But you can feel like there are a lot of different reasons, a lot of different visions that you have. Seven of Cups is like sorting out all of my feelings about this, trying to figure this out on my own as well with the Hermit. And then Seven of Wands is like, I'm also going to have to stand up for the choice that I'm making here. And with Seven of Wands, like this card in particular, it can feel like maybe this person has an opinion, maybe that person, and you have to sort of maneuver through all of that, when really with the Hermit, it feels like this is your own thing. Like this is like your own, I don't want to use the word problem because it doesn't feel like a problem. It just, well, maybe in the sense of like you're solving something, we can call it a problem, where you're trying to gain a clear understanding of sort of how to move through this the right way, a way that feels right to you. Understanding your feelings about this. I'm seeing the Fool on the bottom of the deck, so I'm definitely getting this be advice for you to be courageous, not just fall back into something familiar just because it's familiar, to really like put yourself out there, to maybe do things a little bit differently, to open yourself up, to have faith, like those types of things with this choice. Allow your inner inspiration to guide you. Maybe that's part of figuring this out. I feel like I feel like you're not really supposed to open up the floor to anybody else, because Hermit would be, I see the Hermit, like I see the first card that we have coming out in a spread be very important as to like what's needed, what's necessary, like what energy are you in right now. Having the Hermit means this is a time where I'm figuring something out. This is a time where I don't need to be influenced by other people. I need to be influenced by myself and what I think and how I'm understanding this. Seven of Wands is almost feeling like maybe you have like input from other people. You know, like this Seven of Wands, you're on a mission here to do something with your Seven of Wands, and this can be like what everybody else is saying, like sort of aiming towards you, and you being like, that's not the way I'm going, that's not the way I'm going, and trying to like figure this out. And having Hermit, it feels like this is just going to get more and more confusing, because you may already have opinions or influences of other things or other people, other states I'm also hearing. And what I'm seeing is that like having us start off with Hermit and also to end with Judgment, this is like, what do I think? Like when I'm looking at this, how am I assessing this? How am I understanding this? And not to confuse things further by taking on like the desires and whatnot of other people. Two of Swords looks like I'm trying to understand this because I have a decision to make. I have something to do here and I can't move forward until I do. So I'm gonna feel like until I make this choice, I can't move forward. It's kind of like a confusing situation to be moving through, or there's just like a lot to sort of like all the filed paperwork to be going through with this. And Judgment and Hermit connecting, that's arriving at your own conclusion where you have figured this out, where the Hermit can also be like a limited number of trusted beings around you. If you're not doing this completely alone, this would be like a very limited amount of energies around you that you know are like 100% supportive of you and what you have going on, that would not sort of conflict with your path and your journey. This is like an unconditionally supportive energy, or as close as one can get to that. So you're either doing this like completely alone, figuring this out, or only with energies around you that like really very much support you more than anything else. Decision needs to be made. You are gonna know, like in your heart, and also too in your like inspiration and passion and excitement, what you're trying to do and where you want to go. Because also too, now that I'm looking at this as well, if you look at this card, see how all this stuff is coming towards this person? They have their hand up like stop. So you may be setting boundaries or being like, or keeping something to yourself while you figure it out, so you are not influenced by these other energies. Because you like have a mission here is what this looks like. This is really up to you. Hermit and Two of Swords is you finding the answer on your own, figuring this out through a sense of self-reflection. You are going to come to the right conclusion, trusting that. Seven of Cups, you're in a space where there may be a lot going on and you're sorting through how you feel about it, how you're understanding it, what's going on, what those messages that you're receiving mean, as far as like what's most correct for you, what's most aligned as far as moving forward. Then that's also going to free up emotional and mental space for you. And then Seven of Wands feels like you being okay with the choice that you're making here, because you are influencing yourself. Judgment and Eight of Swords can be feeling like worried about saying how you really feel or what you really want or what you really think, like those types of things. Almost like I sort of know where I stand with this Judgment, but there's a part of me that almost is having a hard time saying that. It can be like that type of thing. Maybe you feel like it's hard to verbalize your like emotions or your perspective of your feelings on this. There can also be worry and anxiety about this too, like maybe having a little bit of a hard time trusting yourself can be part of this. Like also too, just the archetype of Pisces. I see Pisces energy as sort of like a sponge where we really absorb a lot of energies around us. And so this thing where you're like putting your hand up and saying like stop and not allowing something to sort of intertwine or infuse itself with your process here. It looks like there's a decision that's going to be made. Yes. And you also really like standing on what you believe in too, because I'm seeing you come out. So you're in hermit mode figuring all of this stuff out. I'm seeing King of Swords like be at the end of this. So this means that there's like a conclusion and then you're like, okay, I'm ready. Like I'm ready with my decision. It can be something along the lines of that. It feels, this King of Swords feels very like upright, like standing up straight, like I'm not going to back down. This is where I stand. And it feels like there's a sense of confidence because you have influenced yourself rather than having like unaligned influence this choice that you're making and like where you stand with this. All right. Trust yourself. For some of you, this can have to do with your livelihood as well. Yeah, I'm seeing things are going to be going well. Okay, some of you, there could be travel involved. Doesn't have to be, but for some of you, there will be. For others of you also, too, I'm seeing potentially like a relationship that may be a bit impacted by this. However, I was also seeing the Devil come out connected with Two of Cups, and that can mean sort of like binding with something so much, but giving power to something outside of yourself, like a relationship where then you're like compromising something. Like I'm giving so much to this relationship outside of myself, or giving it so much power, this relationship outside of myself, which can be like you and another person, that I'm putting so much weight on that because I'm not putting the weight on my relationship with myself. So that's something to be mindful of, because the way that I was seeing the Devil can be kind of like a codependency potentially that you may have with somebody, or that can be becoming visible, or just for you to be aware of, to be mindful if that's the direction that you think things may potentially go in, and to sort of put that back into, instead of putting the energy on that and like the weight on that, putting that back into your relationship with yourself. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. 13:13 on the time. I hope to catch you guys next time. Thanks.